Boba Fett in his 2002 glory from Epic Duels. Guys, this is so exciting. Episode 1 here, we're checking out one of my favorite decks from the whole conversion from our creator Koi here, is Boba Fett. So one thing I do want to reiterate, if you did not see the first video here, all of these conversions are going to be able to use everything from Epic Duels. The only thing you do have to replace is the deck here. So here's the original deck here from Epic Duels that very similar to what we have with Unmatched, just doesn't quite fit up to the standard to battle other Unmatched fighters. So we can get rid of this and pull in our Boba Fett Unmatched deck here. And as you can see with the art on the back of the card here, it's very reminiscent of the original Epic Duels game. Kind of has that exact same feeling here, but it's just going to be more in line with actual Unmatched. So yes, so we have the deck there, and then also we're going to be with Unmatched, we're going to need a hero card here. So we have Boba Fett, a ranged fighter with 14 health, which will match the original here. So you can use the original health markers here from Epic Duels to play with Unmatched here. So Greedo here is also a ranged fighter with 7 health. So you can see both of them are ranged from Epic Duels here, and we have 14 health and 7 health. So it is going to match exactly. So as long as you have the original figures from Epic Duels as well as the health marker, then you can just take this deck and you are ready to play. But in classic Burnt Toast fashion, I had to upgrade everything. So we are going to replace the 2002 little plastic pre-painted miniature here with something that's more in line with actual Unmatched, just that gray black washed figure with the colored base. Yes, I love how this guy turned out. He looks fantastic. And then with Unmatched, sadly they do not give us miniatures for these sidekicks, so we'll have to replace him with just a token here for Greedo. And then lastly here, we're going to get rid of the paper health tracker here and replace it with some dials that you would see from Unmatched with both a hero and a sidekick dial. And I do want to point out, I'm so proud of how these turned out. They are trying to be as reminiscent of the paper health tracker here. So the exact same kind of brushed metal color there with the portrait on the side here as well as the title. And then the max health here is going to match that red circle that you get. And also we have the same vents on the side here. And my absolute favorite thing here is the 0 on the original health tracker is that blue dot. So on the health tracker here, when you hit 0, you will also get a blue dot, but it's going to have that cool white star icon there. The same with the actual icon that you put on there, the little marker that you put on the dial. So I loved how these turned out. We can set Boba here back to his full health of 14, and you can also take a quick look at Greedo here, and also matched up just perfectly, of course, with the red dot for the max health and then the blue circle for the 0 health. So we can set that back to full health, and there we go. We are all set and ready to review the Boba Fett conversion from Epic Duels. So let's start with the hero card here so we can get a little feel of how Boba works here. So he is a ranged fighter with 14 health, as well as Greedo, a ranged fighter with 7 health, a move of 2. And this says, after any fighter is defeated, you may collect a bounty. The same bounty cannot be collected more than once each game. So now you might be asking yourself, what is a bounty? So usually Koi gave us this card here that has the list of different bounties that you can collect, but I thought it might be more fun to have a bounty puck from Star Wars here. So we have quite a few familiar bounty hunters here. So we have Cad Bane there, we have Bosk, we have Fennec, we have IG-88, and we have Bausch. So all of our different characters here that you would see Boba Fett maybe going after in Star Wars, and kind of looks like the bounty hunter pug that they would have to actually track down their people. But on the back here, the actual functionality here is all of the different things that you can collect once you have defeated another fighter, whether it be a sidekick or a hero. Definitely going to be better against heroes that have multiple sidekicks. But we can take a look here. The first one here is any fighter recovers 2 health. So either Boba Fett or Greedo, or actually in 2v2s, you can choose to heal up your teammate there. And then the next one here is place your fighters in any spaces, so both of them, another great one if you're in a pinch. Next one here is gain 2 sorry, typo there, it's supposed to be gain 2 actions if it's your turn, so obviously you can't do it when you defeat someone on their turn. And then next here is each opponent discards 1 card, definitely better if you're fighting multiple opponents. And last one is draw 3 cards, which can definitely be a good turn swing there. So there's all of the different bounties that you can collect as Boba Fett there. So we will set those behind him over here. And now we can take a look into his deck. And I just want to once again take a look at the card back here. It is so nostalgic to have it look just like the Epic Duels one here, but with the Unmatched logo and the correct Unmatched size. So yeah, so let's get into the deck, starting with the attack cards here for Boba. This is an attack of 4 for Boba, the Rocket Retreat with 2 boost, 3 copies. This is after combat, place Boba Fett in any space in his zone. Exactly a Rocket Retreat. He hits you with a 4 and gets to a different space to get out of range from you. And then next here is Wrist Cable Shot, and this is a 2 attack for Boba Fett with 3 boost, 2 copies. And this is immediately, the opposing fighter cannot leave their space for the rest of this turn. After combat, the opponent only has 1 action on their next turn. So definitely a scary trap you card where you're going to pull them in, you can potentially do a second attack, and they're only going to have 1 action, so either they can attack you back or they can run away. Definitely a very scary card to have as the opponent. Next here is a 5 attack for Boba Fett, and I love how the artwork looks on this one. A 2 boost, 1 copy, and this is Deadly Aim. After combat, draw 2 cards. And I believe we've seen this card in another deck in Unmatched. Next here we have an attack of 6 for Boba Fett, another 1 copy with 2 boost, and this is Kyber Dart. After combat, if you defeated the opposing fighter, draw 3 cards. So you already kind of seen the theming throughout this deck. Boba Fett is definitely very scary, and his whole objective is to take you down. So he's getting bonuses every time he defeats you, and then with Kyber Dart here, he's going to be drawing another 6 cards. So this is your last card, and you kill a sidekick. You can draw 3 cards from it. You killed something, you defeated it, so you can draw another 3 cards from cashing in one of those bounties. So definitely very scary, going from 1 card all the way up to 6. And then next here is a 5 attack for Boba Fett, and this is Missile Launch, a 1 boost, 1 copy, and it says you may place this card face up to target a fighter in any space. So awesome. Obviously, on the back here of Boba Fett, he has that missile, and he only has 1 copy of this, so he's only going to be able to fire that missile once, but he's going to be able to target you anywhere on the battlefield. I love the theming of this card. And then next here we have a scheme for Boba Fett, and this is Flamethrower, a 3 boost, 1 copy, and this is deal 2 damage to each fighter adjacent to Boba Fett, and move them each up to 3 spaces. So dealing lots of damage, and they're going to be running away from that big old flamethrower happening. Now we can go into our Greedo cards, and this is probably what makes it one of my favorite decks. I love the fact that you are defeating fighters and, you know, cashing in bounties to get them, but this card specifically, for some reason, I really like Sidekick having this card. So this is a 7 attack for Greedo, so a 7 attack for the Sidekick with 4 boosts and only 1 copy, and this is Desperate Shot. The effects of this card cannot be canceled. After combat, if the opposing fighter was not defeated, defeat Greedo. So it's very interesting because we're going to have a bunch of any cards here, so obviously we want to keep Greedo around here because 7 health is not too shabby, or sorry, 7 health there is not too shabby, and there's a lot of good cards in this deck that you definitely would want Greedo around for. But if you feel like you can kill the opponent with this card, then you're gonna be taking the chance there, because if they block it or, you know, absorb enough damage that they're not going to be defeated, then you're actually just killing Greedo off. But also a great card if Greedo's on the last leg where he only has 1 or 2 health, you might as well get this big 7 out before he dies. Love this card, how that is designed. And then next here is a scheme for Greedo with 4 boost, 2 copies, and this is Sudden Arrival. Place Greedo adjacent to any fighter. We can place those next. It's just him, once again, suddenly arriving. Once again, the theming through all these cards are great. Koi did an amazing job on this conversion. And then next here is a scheme for Greedo, and this is Going Somewhere with 4 boosts and 2 copies. Choose an opponent's fighter adjacent to Greedo. Look at that opponent's hand. Choose either an any card or a card belonging to that chosen fighter for them to discard. So just kind of, not only the fact that you're getting rid of a card, but the fact that you can look at what they have, you can definitely set up that big old 7 if you know that they cannot defend it. And then that's all of our Greedo cards. We can go onto our Ennies here. So this is a 3 attack for Ennie with 3 boost, 3 copies, and this is Finish Them Off. After combat, defeat the opposing fighter if they have 2 or less health and you won the combat. I mean, literally thematic to the card. And once again, Boba Fett is tracking you down to kill you and get that bounty. Very cool. Next here is our first defense from this deck here. So a 3 defense here for Ennie with 1 boost, 2 copies, and this is Return Fire. After combat, deal 1 damage to the opposing fighter. So far we have not seen too much stuff to defend yourself here, but obviously we have lots of versatiles and defenses here. But I like that even when he's defending, he's still coming after you, still firing. And then next here we have a 1 defense for Ennie with 3 boost, 3 copies, and this is Improvise. And there's Boba Fett in the Sarlacc pit there. And this is during combat, and you may boost this card. So I do like that. We've seen a couple of big boosts with 4s there, so this definitely will come in handy to block some big blows. And then next here we have a 4 versatile for Ennie. This is our first versatile cards with 1 boost, 3 copies, and this is Scum and Villainy. After combat, if you won the combat, you may collect a bounty. So definitely a great card for those matchups where there's not either you don't have a lot of opponents if you're not playing 2v2, or your opponent doesn't have any sidekicks. Like if you're fighting Bruce Lee or one of the other solo fighters, you're not going to be collecting any bounties until the game's over. So this is nice that you have 3 chances to collect bounties here. All you got to do is win the combat. So definitely makes it so that the bounties aren't just dead if you only have a solo fighter against you. And then next here is a 2 versatile for any with 1 copy, and this is Feint. Oh, sorry, with 3 copies, 1 boost. And this is Feint. Immediately cancel all effects on your opponent's card. A card we all know very well. Then our last card in the deck here is a Scheme for any with 2 boost, 2 copies, and this is Thermal Detonator. Choose a space in one of your fighter zones, deal 2 damage to all fighters in that space, and deal 1 damage to each fighter adjacent. So I love that. You are throwing it over there and blowing up and doing lots of damage in the surrounding area. And there we go. That is Boba Fett. We can move on to my final thoughts. So I felt like Boba Fett here was one of the perfect fighters to start the series off with the Star Wars Epic Duels conversion set, because I think Koei did an amazing job on converting Boba Fett over here. I mean, just the details of feeling like you actually are Boba Fett, hunting down the other opponents and collecting bounties for the heads that you collect. And I do want to point out that Koei did an amazing job here, guys. I mean, he did as many details as he could to really just encapsulate the feeling of the Epic Duels characters into Unmatched. And I have a great example here is, if you look at Epic Duels here, we have the Kyber Dart. After attacking, if you destroy the defending character, draw 3 cards. And that is basically a 1-for-1 of what we have now in Unmatched. He tried his best to keep everything he could. Obviously a 9 would be way too strong in Unmatched, so he changed it to a 6, but he kept not only the name, but also the effect basically the exact same. So you're getting almost a 1-for-1 conversion here with definitely lots of upgrades, just like Restoration Games did with Epic Duels to turn it into Unmatched. I think he did an absolutely fantastic job here, and Boba Fett is one of my favorites from this set. So I'm excited to show you all 12 of the characters from Epic Duels. Now I gotta go, my toast is burning.